Hi there, it's Ruth at Artful Stampin. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a little really sweet little paper flower corsage. But before I do that, I want to talk to you about a couple of new items that I've had from Stampin UP, which I don't know why I've never ordered them before. They're just something that was on my list and I didn't get around to ordering. Okay, so this is I think it's described as a piercing mat. I'm just going to check it out in the catalogue. Yes, it's called the Stampin Pierce Mat. And I've noticed that quite a few demonstrators use this mat for not just doing what it's described to do, which is to use the pokey tool on so that you don't damage your table, but also for using it as a surface to stamp mainly photopolymer stamps, because sometimes it just needs a little bit of give underneath your paper or your cardstock to give it a really good impression. So that's the Stampin Pierce Mat. Now I'm not intending to put too many holes in this one because I actually want to use it more for stamping on. So there's that product there. Then the other thing I wanted to talk to you about were these really handy plastic boxes. And they're basically the blank boxes that sometimes you find that our wooden stamps come in. But you can buy them in packs of 4. Oh, just trying to find the page for you. And this is the smallest but widest one that they do. And it's £4.50 for 4 of these boxes. And what's really nice is that when you stack these on your shelf alongside your other stamps, they just fit really, really nicely in with the rest of things. Now, you can actually carry a lot of stuff in one of these. Okay, I've just put all my my tweezers for my classes and my piercing tool in there. Okay, now that brings me nicely onto the piercing tool. That's something else that I've kind of neglected for a little while, but in the technique that I'm going to show you in a second, we actually use it quite a lot. So here it is. This is how it comes. And it actually has this really handy kind of safety cap on it, so that if you keep it in your, I don't know, your pencil case or something, it's not going to go through it. Or if you keep it in your bag or your tool case, it's not going to damage anything else while it has this kind of like silicone lid on it. Now I found it's a bit tricky sometimes to take this off, because if you start pulling like this, it actually tightens it sometimes and makes it harder to pull off. So it's easier just to pull like that with your fingers that way. Okay, right, let's get on and make these flowers. The example that I'm going to show you first, though, are of these ones here. And I'm actually going to be just teaching you how to do this flower here. But the technique to do these little ones is very similar. So I'll explain that a little bit later. Okay, so these 2 corsages here, I don't know if you can see the difference already, but I used 4 different coloured flowers for each of the large flowers. This one I've got light going to dark, and this one I've got dark then going into light at the centre. So you can choose whatever colours you fancy using. So here I've just got a selection of cutouts already, because I did a class very recently, and so these are the leftovers. And so I just left the ladies to kind of choose whatever they wanted to choose to make their flowers. Now, a really lovely combination I saw being used was a little bit of the green with some of the purple. And let's pop that one there as well. Okay, so the only tool that we're going to be using today that's not Stampin' UP is this pointy tweezers that I find really, really helpful. If you just do a search on the internet, you'll be able to find these tweezers. But I find the pointy ones the most helpful. Okay, so I've done this technique before in some of my other videos, but if you're new to my YouTube channel, hello and welcome. And if you like what you see, please do subscribe and have a look at some of my other paper flower making videos. Okay, so I hold the flower, I'm right-handed, so I hold the flower in my left hand, and I hold the tweezers like so, but I twist my hand so the back of my hand is facing upwards, and I pop the tweezers onto the flower petal like this, put my thumb and my finger over the top and twist away, but allowing the paper to twist up inside the tweezers, and then I pull them out, and I do that on every single petal. Now if this was just DSP, designer series paper, then you may be able to do 2 at a time without the tweezers kind of buckling under the strain. But because this is cardstock, I'm actually just going to do 1 at a time. And once you get the hang of it, you can do it quite quickly. Now, if you are going to be making a lot of corsages, I would recommend that maybe you spend an evening doing lots of punching out, or if you get a team of you together, you can do this. And then, buy a couple of these tweezers, and then, if you're waiting, I don't know, at the dentist's, or you've got a spare moment in your lunch break, you could pop a little box of, you get an ice cream tub, and you could put a box of these in there with your tweezers. Every spare moment you have, you could be twisting these up, ready to then put together when you're near a glue gun, which is the other thing. Actually, I meant to say that's the other thing that's not Stampin' Up, but we do need to use a glue gun. Okay, when you've got all the 4 flowers ready, you just put them all together, put them on your stamping pierce mat. Now, obviously, you can use anything else. Some people just use like an old mouse mat. And you get your piercing tool and you just poke a hole right through all 4 of them like that. Okay, and then you get yourself a piece of wire. Oh my goodness, this is the 3rd thing. I'm sorry, there's 3 things that you need to get that aren't Stampin' Up. The tweezers, the glue gun, and the wire. Oh, and actually there's a 4th thing. Oh my goodness, I should have planned this out a little bit better, shouldn't I? There's a 4th thing, there's the tape, but I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so I've got a piece of wire here that measures, it's about 40 centimetres long, but I've bent it into half, and I'm just going to twist the end a little bit so I've got a nice loop there. And whatever colour that I choose to be at the centre, I put on first. Now, this flower is worth scrunching it. Once you get it to the end like this, it's worth giving it a really good kind of like scrunch up to make sure that the fibres are really nice and soft, so that when you then put some glue on the centre and and then smush the flower together, it's quite easy to do so because you've already broken up the fibres. Okay, so you just give that a bit of a smush for a few seconds so it's really cooled down and you know it's all okay. Then you pop the second flower on, put some glue around the base of the first petals, the first flower that you put on, and then smush the second one into the first one like so. And then you just carry on until you've finished. So a little tip with the glue guns, because the way the glue works is by melting it. Sometimes if you pull straight away like this, you end up with a bit of a string. I don't know if that's picking up on the camera. So my little tip is to do small circular movements near the base of where you put the glue down and then pull away, so you don't end up with a long stringy bit that can get quite frustrating. If you do have a long stringy bit, don't worry about keep pulling it and pulling it and pulling it, okay, because you'll be there forever. Just allow it to hang and then pull it off later. Okay, now that on its own makes quite a pretty flower. If I just open the centre up a little bit more. There we go. That's quite a nice flower on its own. So if you wish just to have it that size, that's fine. But I'm going to go for a slightly fuller one and then just stick this last one on. And a bit more glue at the base. There we go. And there we go. And there you have your flower. Right, well then the next stage is to get some florist tape. Now I bought these at my local florist shop and there was an option of green or white. Now I thought they only ever did the green, but apparently the white is now available. So I quite like the white. It's just a bit different. You know how we always tend to go with what's new and what's different. Okay, now this tape is really interesting. When you first touch it, it is not, doesn't feel sticky at all. Okay, but what you do, I'm just going to just tear off that end bit there because it's got a bit smushy. The way to use it is to actually stretch the tape out a little bit, and that is what makes it stick to itself. Okay, I don't understand the technology behind it. All I know is that it works. Okay, and before I start twisting it around, I'm actually going to bend the wires up in on themselves a little bit to create a slightly more thicker stem, and just give that a little bit of a twist. Okay, then I'm just going to apply the tape around it in at a bit of an angle. You'll just have to guess from looking at it. I don't know what angle that is. Okay, but you can see that it's pulled at an angle, okay, and stretched, and then you twist the stem round and round and round, and the tape just then ends up around it. And when you get to the end of the pulled bit, you just basically pull a little bit more, and so you keep twisting and pulling. I'm just at the end there, so I'm just going back up again. So you keep twisting and pulling and stretching and twisting. Take it right back, take it right to the top there. Give another bit of a stretch. And then at the top there, I like to make that a little bit thicker. Okay. And then it can all come back down again. And then when you've finished and you're happy with it, you just give it a bit of a pull and twist it a bit more. So then you end up with a beautifully neat little stem there. Okay, so this time I've only just done one. If you want to create a little bit more interest, then all you do is then, after you've created all the different elements and arrange it how you want to arrange it, you then just twist all the wires together, and then again use the tape just to hold it all together like that. Okay, right, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you discover making paper flowers and love it as much as I do. It's just one of my little passions that I've fallen into. Of course, if you wanted to add a little bit more colour onto this, you could just use a sponge and some ink and just sponge some colour onto there. It would be really interesting to maybe create this out of maybe white cardstock and then put hints of colour on it. You know, the world's your oyster really in terms of playing with all the different colour options and things. But before I go, let me just tell you the name of this punch that I use. It's the Pansy Punch, and it's currently available from Stampin UP. So if you head to artfulstampin.co.uk and click on shop, then and go to the punches section, you will find it in there. If you like what you see, please subscribe, and if you really like it and you think your friends might like what I've done, then please do share it with your friends. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to presenting another video soon. Bye.